Hello, welcome to my video on the resin infusion process. To start with, we're going to look at what composites are and how they're used in industry. Okay, so what is a composite? A composite is a combination of two separate materials combined together to make one material which has better mechanical properties than the two individual components. In the case we're looking at, we have a fiberglass or carbon fiber material which is going to be mixed with a resin to form a hardened material. The fiber material is able to be molded into certain shapes before the resin is added. When the resin is added, it is then cured and becomes a hardened shape. The composite industry is ever evolving, and as time progresses, composites are going to get lighter and stronger. As you can see in this video, in 5 years' time will be up to 250 kilograms lighter. Two industries which have benefited highly from the advancements in composite technologies are transatlantic yacht racing and Formula One. The ability to manufacture components which are infinitely lighter than ever before whilst maintaining durability and resilience to high forces loaded out upon them has increased peak performance globally. I'll find valid in your eyes. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. Right then, let's begin going through the process of resin infusion step by step. We start off by ensuring the chosen mould is clean and free of debris. This is vitally important for the surface finish. A release agent is then generally applied. Vacuum bagging tape or gum tape is then applied to the perimeter of the mould. In this instance, 4 layers of carbon fibre reinforcement is applied to the mould. Once the layers have been applied, they are then cut down to shape. The carbon fibre reinforcement layers are then to be secured in place using masking tape. This ensures they do not move while the rest of the components are being added. On top of the reinforcement layer comes the peel ply. The peel ply is there to stop the bag sticking to the part. The peel ply is then cut down to the same size and shape as the gum tape perimeter. It is then securely fastened using tape. Peel ply, the infusion mesh is placed. This aids even distribution of the resin throughout the part. The mesh is then cut down to the same size as the peel ply. In each of the corners, a small cut is made to allow the infusion mesh to be pressed into the mould. Next comes the infusion spiral. This is added with a silicone connector. This is held in place with tape once again, and it is important that the spiral is secured on top of the infusion mesh. An additional 2 layers of infusion mesh are added. This will aid in the even distribution of the vacuum and allow an even pull of the resin. Now comes the vacuum bag. This needs to be cut larger than the mould. The bag is then secured to the mould using the gum tape. The extra length of the bag allows for pleats to be added. Pleats being added allow the vacuum bag to drop into the contours of the mould without any bridging being present. Now the vacuum bag is secured, it is time to hook up the vacuum pump. First, the hoses need to be connected. This is simply done by piercing the bag and pushing the hoses through into the silicone connectors. The seal is created by wrapping gum tape around the joint between the vacuum bag and the hose. Between the vacuum bag and the pump there will be a catch pot. The resin feed lines then need to be added in the same way the vacuum hose was. A chamfer is added to stop the resin line bottoming out and restricting the flow of the resin. The feed lines are then taped to a stick and then also taped to the resin bucket, stopping them falling out of the bucket and potentially ruining the part. It is now time to pull the test. First of all, we need to clamp the resin feed lines. Once the feed lines are clamped, the pump can be turned on and the air will begin to be drawn out of the bag. As the vacuum is pulled, the bag will need to be adjusted to negate any bridging. A lap or two around the seal is advised, checking for any potential leak paths. A leak flow indicator positioned between the catch pot and the pump will indicate when the vacuum is pulled, as it will stop spinning. Clamping the vacuum line and leaving it for a period of up to 10 minutes will show if any air has been drawn into the vacuum bag. On release of the clamp, any potential air that has got into the vacuum bag will surge through and indicate on the pressure gauge. Caution is advised for this next part. PPE is advised to be worn. Once the quantity of resin has been calculated, the resin and catalyst will need to be accurately weighed according to the ratio given in the manufacturer's guidelines. The resin and catalyst are then to be mixed together. The mixing will start an irreversible exothermic reaction, meaning the countdown has begun for it going off. Now that we are happy the bag has a perfect vacuum and the resin is mixed in accordance with the manufacturer's guidelines, the pump can now be turned on and we can begin the resin infusion process. In this clip you can see the importance of creating a perfect seal and have an even flow. You can see that the resin is evenly distributed across the part and is flowing steadily from one side to the other. This ensures maximum resin infusion and saturation of fibres. Once fully saturated, the feed lines are to be clamped and the pump can be turned off. The part is then left to cure for the stated time and at the correct temperature found in the manufacturing guidelines. A way to check the resin is cured is by bending the feed hose. They should snap cleanly. If they bend, the resin hasn't set. Once happy the resin is cured, the feed lines are to be removed. The pump is disconnected and we can begin removing the vacuum bag. Next, the peel ply is to be stripped away. The use of gloves is advised for this part. If the release agent was correctly applied at the beginning, it should take little to no force to remove the finished part from its mould. And there we have a finished component with an excellent surface finish and a perfectly smooth base. Now the only thing left to do is to trim off any excess and sand back the edges. The good thing about the resin infusion process is that once a mould has been created, it can be used over and over again. This allows you to manufacture multiple parts to the same high quality finish.